Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. We are so excited to be talking with the owner and founder of Simple Kona Beach Weddings. And oh my goodness, I cannot wait to talk to our guest about the beautiful events that she has and how she's helping so many people in their beautiful Hawaiian type ceremonies. So, first and foremost, Becky Ringler, thank you so much for being here. How are you doing today?
I am great. Thanks. I'm so happy to be here. It's exciting to be able to share about what I do because it's really special and I feel very lucky every day that I get
Well,
to be here in Hawaii doing this. So, yeah.
beautiful. And where specifically in Hawaii are you, darling?
So I am, and we're located in Kailua Kona, which is on the Big Island of Hawaii, so the actual island of Hawaii. A lot of people get that confused because it's nicknamed the Big Island, and the people think of Oahu, but Oahu may have the most people, but it is a smaller island. The Big Island is our largest island landmass of all the islands in Hawaii, and Kona happens also to be on the sunset side of the island, so we get all the beautiful sunsets and all that good stuff. So it's a wonderful place to be.
Beautiful. Well, we're excited to have you here to talk more about the work you're doing and how you're helping so many people with these intimate groups of 30 or fewer, as you say, right? I mean, these ceremonies are gorgeous. I've checked them out online. But before we get to talk about your services and what you provide, I would love to get to know you first. Where are you from? How did you get into this business and how did you get to Hawaii?
It's a long story. I'm originally from upstate New York, so I'm an East Coast girl originally, and I've I've had a lot of adventures throughout my lifetime. I ended up going to school in Chicago at Northwestern. I was a theater major. Um, Ironically, right after college, I moved to Japan and I taught English in public middle
Oh
schools,
my
and
goodness.
then I moved to New York City. Yeah. And then I moved to New York City and I was a professional actress for several years. And I woke up one day and I thought, I really want to be doing. Part of the reason I wanted to be an actress actually was because I wanted to inspire people to take action from what they saw on the stage. And so I was like, I really want to help more people. And so I ended up moving to San Francisco and getting my master's in counseling psychology with a concentration in expressive arts therapy. And I worked for several years in a hospital doing alternative healing and pain management in the hospital setting, which was really cool. And then somehow I just ended up sort of falling into a personal development line of work and having a blogging business. And my husband and I ended up getting married, moved to the East Bay, and about 5 years into our marriage, we're like, we should just we loved Hawaii. I had always, as a little girl, dreamed of going to Hawaii because nobody goes, it feels like nobody from New York ever goes to Hawaii. It's so far away. Uh,
Yeah.
but I always had this fantasy of like the tropical weather and everything. And my husband's family had been many times, and we went several times throughout our relationship. And about 5 years into our marriage, we're like, we should just move to Hawaii. Why don't we just move there? And
Wow.
so we went for a friend's wedding, decided, yes, we could do it. And we came home, we started packing, we moved 3 months later without a plan. So we ended up here in Hawaii. And I still had that personal development blogging business at the time. And then I ended up really, I ended up bedbound with a back injury for several months. And
Oh
then,
my goodness.
yeah, and then it was discovered that I had colon cancer. And that was, by the way, I have to say that I am extremely lucky. They caught it during the colonoscopy, they removed it, and that was it. There was a lot of tests and a lot of other things afterwards to make sure, but I like to say it was the luckiest colon cancer, knock on wood,
Yeah.
anybody ever had, because they caught it very early. And I had several other cancer scares. Those were all okay. Again, I feel incredibly fortunate, but all of that really helped me say, what's most important to me in my life? And the answer was love. I want to focus on love and I want to focus on things that bring people joy. I've worked in a lot of situations throughout my career, especially when I was in after grad school, in places that were challenging, people at their most challenging points of their lives. And I wanted to do something really joyful. I still did not have the weddings in mind, but
Hmm.
yeah. But then a friend was like, hey, I think you should really do weddings. And it was like this huge, I was doing some dating and relationship coaching, and a light bulb moment came on, and I was like, that's what I,
Wow.
so
And how many years ago did you start the business?
it was 10 years ago, this year, officially, which is really exciting. I've done almost 700 weddings at this point. It's been
Oh
really
my
wonderful.
goodness.
Yeah.
Wow, I commend you on everything you've done, and thank you for sharing your personal journey with us. And there's been ups and downs, but here you are striving and now having this business. And really, one of the things you said in your notes was, "There's no time like the present, and life is too short. Just do it." Clearly, you live by your own words. You practice what you preach, in a sense, right? Wow. So before you started the business, so you really were all over the place. You've tried a lot of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Did you, now let me ask you, how did you figure out where specifically in Hawaii you wanted to move?
Oh, that was pretty easy. My husband had been to Kona like 20 times, and we got married here, actually. So when we got married, we also had our wedding here in Hawaii before we moved here. And
Oh,
it was in Kona. He had some good friends from high school that had moved here and had partially grown up here. And so it was a place that felt to him like home. And I actually, when we came, every time we were here, it always felt like, yeah, this is home. And and so it was just a pretty obvious choice for us. Yeah,
wow.
so I feel really lucky for that. It really wasn't hard. I love all the islands, but this is home for us.
Amazing. All right. So this woman does it all. My goodness. Dating relationship coach, author. She's got so many things. A teacher. I mean, you've done a lot. And here we are now. We're going to talk about this amazing business that you have, all the couples, all the love and joy you're bringing. Let's break it down. I mean, it's not just weddings, there's also vow renewals and so many other things. So, where do we get started with your services? Where did you want to start off with first?
I think the most important thing is that there's something very special about getting married here in Hawaii. We have this was laid down, I like to say, by the people that came before me. There was a couple of ladies, I think in the 80s and 90s, maybe it was in the 90s, I don't know, but they started this thing where they created these sort of this whole experience, wedding options for people that came to Hawaii because everyone's coming
Yeah.
from far afield. And um, now, I based my model sort of on the shoulders of those wonderful women who started these things. And all of those people are retired now. Um, and a lot of people have followed suit. We all do things a little differently, but um, the biggest thing that I feel like that we do is especially at Simple Kona Beach Weddings, we specialize in a couple of things. We really specialize in a personalized experience. We plan, coordinate, and officiate. I officiate, unless I'm collaborating with somebody. I also officiate. I feel like it really creates a wonderful bond of trust, and we get to know each other throughout the process so that when they show up from thousands of miles away to get married, they know the person that's marrying them rather than some random person showing up at the beach that they've never met.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool. And the other thing is that we don't like, I don't farm out my business. And I know that perhaps some could say, hey, that's not the best business decision because you could make more money if you do it this way and blah, blah, blah. But I actually love working in my business. I love being with people. I love seeing them on their wedding day. I love producing. I mean, when I was an actress,
Yeah.
when I
You're
was in
working
theater, I
behind the
produced a lot
scenes
of shows
too.
and
Yeah,
I
of
performed.
course.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a really special experience to be able to help people really listen to them. It's not just, you don't just pick things off a menu. We sit down and we talk, and I help them create their vision and help put it all together. My goal is that someone gets on the plane and they're like, well, at least I don't have to worry about the wedding, you know? So that's sort of my
Yeah.
personal goal is we handle all the flower, music. If they, we typically don't include professional photography, although we can. Otherwise, we help people with quote gathering and booking because I feel like photography is a really personal choice and I want people to choose who they want. We do have a few options where you can include it, of course. Some people are busy and they're like, we don't care. Just pick us somebody good. Then we'll handle it for you. But otherwise, um, yeah, it's just a really fun thing to help hear people's vision, to really help deliver something that means something. And to me, the ceremony too, a lot of people are like, let me just get to the party. The ceremony's boring. A ceremony on the beach in Hawaii should never be boring. It is
Oh,
one of the most, not only is it just beautiful, it's relaxing. And I think because I was a performer, like for me, that is the most beautiful, fulfilling experience. It's a little different every time based on the energy of the people. That's where the therapy background comes into, you sense the energy in the room, you hold the space. Um, so it's really special. So it makes me every day I'm like, I'm so happy to do this. It's like the best thing I've ever done.
okay,
So it's
hold.
really fun.
Now I've never been to Hawaii. It's ironically my sons. I have a 10 and 8-year old. We've been watching Lost, and they're so ecstatic because they heard Lost was filmed in Hawaii. I'm not sure which island. Do you know?
No, but I don't think it was not this island. It was
Okay, yeah.
probably Kauai, would be
Oh,
my
okay,
guess.
because
Like Jurassic
we
Park was
just
filmed in
Googled it.
Kauai.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
Googled it yesterday. Like it's like I think an 11-hour flight. There are direct flights from New York. So we want to visit. And I know it's
Yeah.
not really the best place for kids, but I know there's like some kiddie things to do. But my goal is to go to Hawaii. I always said if I got married, I want to go to Hawaii. It's just something I've always dreamed of. My parents had their honeymoon there and it just seems so magical. And it's really like that. Tell me, what is the weather like year round?
Well, here especially in Kona, it's usually like 82 and nice every day. We don't get a lot of rain over here,
Hmm.
which is why it's the dry side of the island. It does rain, but usually not that much. I would say, and the one thing to think about, to me, the worst time of year is like December and January. It is, quote, winter here. It's a little colder, colder being a relative term. It's like 72, 75. Um, and it does rain a lot more. I mean, every year's a little different, but we do get most of our moisture is during the winter months. And also the water is good for surfing, but not great for swimming. So, um, but the rest of the year, I would say, is always like I tell people, just don't look at your weather app. It's going to be fine. It is always nice on the beach at sunset on the Kona side. I've only had to change because of rain 3 times in the last 10 years.
Wow, I was
Um,
going to ask. So year round we're doing weddings, but you said a little slows
oh
down a
yeah.
little January, February. Okay, okay. Well,
Well,
and but
February picks up. January is always a little slow, and we go away for the holidays. We go back to the mainland to see our family over Christmas because it's crazy here. It's very busy, but also the weather is sort of iffy. And yeah, so we just sort of shut down mid-December to early January, and then we come back. So yeah.
beautiful. So your beautiful Hawaiian style ceremonies now they're taking place with up to how many guests? I know did you say it's less than 30 you do?
Yeah, it's like usually up to 30. The
Okay.
beach itself, you can't do a wedding on the beach with really more than 30 people. It's not allowed. Also, chairs are not allowed on the beach, typically.
Well, I'm sorry, what
You
was
can,
that? What's not
no
allowed?
chairs are allowed.
Chairs.
No chairs
Okay.
are permitted. Arches are typically not permitted on public beaches either. But the thing is, here, there's a couple of things that are really, now you can always do private locations, and then you can have whatever you want, but you can't do that on the public beach. All shoreline is technically public access here in Hawaii.
Oh,
Um, and it's really important. I also always say, like, it's really important to hire somebody who knows the rules because, yeah, you might not get caught, but I'm like, I'm not going to risk your wedding doing
no.
something that is not okay. So, no, we are, by the way, allowed to have chairs, certainly for people that are disabled, elderly, or somebody like broke their leg. We can absolutely provide chairs for them to sit. But most of the time, people stand, and there's something incredibly intimate about that experience because everyone's a little bit closer. Everyone is forced to be a little bit more present, and it creates this feeling of intimacy that is really special. And um, yeah, and I always like to say though, the smaller the better. People are like, "Oh, it's a small wedding. It's only 30 people." I'm like, "That is a lot of people on the beach in Hawaii. Like the smaller the better." I also find that my couples have a lot more fun. The fewer people they have more fun
Hmm.
because
And
they're
is
not
it
worried about
specifically
whether.
one location that you're working with on the beach?
No, I have several locations that I love, um, and I never tag them on purpose because I feel like they're not busy and I feel like things are over
Got it.
tagged, especially in Hawaii. So, but I
Hmm.
have some favorite beaches that, like, I have favorite beaches that I swim on and I have
Of
favorite beaches
course.
that I have weddings on. They're different. And usually the wedding beaches are not very crowded. They have amazing photo opportunities. They have, like all of our beaches have interesting tree features, and
Mm-hmm.
there's always lava and there's sand and there's
Ah,
like so many cool things. Um, it's really special. And you're on the Big Island when you're here. It's not just like a white strip of sand, which is why you don't need an arch. There's no need for arches because there's so many things to frame your space. That makes it really
beautiful.
special.
And I read that. I read that you and your husband, you love swimming. I also read that
Mhm.
he's a chef, a cook. Is he preparing the food as well, or?
He used to. He does not anymore typically. Occasionally he'll do like we don't usually do morning weddings, but occasionally he'll do like a little breakfast spread for people. Um if it's a very intimate group. We sort of moved away from that. He got injured a little while ago, so it's it's harder for him to prep things like he used to. So we usually afterwards just help people find. Most of our couples are not looking for the traditional like dancing DJ kind of thing. They're usually older couples. I mean, I've done weddings for 22-year-olds and 85-year-olds, and I'm not kidding, like a huge range. But most of my couples are a little older. It might be a second or third or fourth marriage or a first marriage where they've waited a long time to get married. Um, and they know what they want. They want
Yeah.
something really special and different. And so I help people create like a post-wedding dinner, like at a private location. And I help them arrange all of that stuff so that um, they don't have to worry, like all that's arranged and then they just show up and they have a beautiful dinner. I don't do the full wedding reception, like organizing all that stuff anymore. I did my first few years and I stopped doing the second half, and now I just refer out to something that really suits the couple. So
This
it's
is
everybody
exciting.
wins.
I mean, you say your goal is to have couples feel like, they can get on the plane and know that you've got everything taken care of. What a great feeling that must be. And, can I just ask you what, makes you different, would you say, compared to other companies out there that are doing this?
I feel like it's definitely the personal touch. I always felt like, of course you would do this for somebody. But I
Oh,
found that people don't do that, of course, kind of thing. I always meet with a couple when we first get started via Zoom. I really take time to get to know them. Um, there's a lot of personal touch through the whole thing. And I always say, like, hey, I don't want you to feel silly about asking any question like, what shoes do I wear? People don't know these things. Like, can I go barefoot, or do I need to wear flip-flops, or should I wear heels? Or there's a lot of questions like you don't know what you don't know. And even if you've been married before, most people have not been married on the beach in Hawaii before. And there's a lot of things to consider. And I feel like it's really the personal attention. Um, I feel like also it's really about just knowing that most of my couples are short on time and they just want somebody to just take care of it and make the decisions that they have to make be really fun. And so there are decisions that you'll have to choose, but they're the fun ones. I like to say they're the fun ones. Let me do all the other stuff. And ironically, for me, the other stuff is fun. Making sure everything gets put together is very satisfying. So I find it really fun.
oh my goodness. Well,
I
thank you
hope
so
I
much.
answered your question. So,
No, you absolutely did. Thank you. And I know you want to talk, you've shared a little bit about the experience of working with you. And if you want to talk a little more about the process and your offerings, we'd appreciate it. Thank you.
yeah. So if it's, by the way, I only book up to a year in advance. Most people here in Hawaii only book a year in advance. I always feel like that's really important.
Okay.
Um, because a lot of things change, and I occasionally I'll like make an exception for somebody. One time years ago, I someone had a 3-year engagement. Of course, they broke up in the middle of that
Ah,
thing, and I feel you're getting married here in Hawaii for a simple wedding. You don't need to plan. We're not like New York City where you need to like, if you do not book 3 years in advance, you're going to lose your things. That's just not how it works here.
mm-hmm.
You can't book anybody more than a year in advance typically.
Got it. Okay.
Um, and if if it's like more than 3 months out, everything is a custom wedding. So I'll have a Zoom with you, and then
Okay.
I'll create a custom proposal for you, go over that, and then we begin our work together, creating everything. If it's 3 months out or less, I actually have a few set packages that you can choose from. You can also do a custom wedding still, but those are made. I always like to say they're not just they're a little less in terms of pricing, and they're meant to also fill in holes in the calendar. But also sometimes we get a lot of last minute people and they just want something really easy. So that's very straightforward. Um, but you can still customize things within that. And then I have a last minute elopement, which is a week out or less. And I do that for vow renewals too. Vow renewals tend to have, I will allow my vow renewal couples to do like a set thing up to a year in advance, but they can always do custom. Sometimes for them, it's their real wedding and they want to do like a really special vow renewal. And then I'll do a custom vow renewal for them. But I find that my vow renewal couples are not as picky. Most of the time, they're like, we just want a really cool thing in Hawaii. So I have just set packages for them. Um, but the but the key to me is that even if you pick something that's set, that I still want it to feel customized to you, that it feels like you.
Got it.
So that's important. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing that. And also, I would love to know what would you say is your favorite part about what you do?
There are so many things.
Can you
I feel
choose?
like,
I know, right?
yeah. I mean, I love, first of all, I love people. I love meeting people from all over the world. We serve people that have come from all over the globe. I still have like I've made very good friends with a lot of my wedding couples and we still stay in touch. And if they ever come back, we see them. Um, I think the most exciting thing though is first of all, I always meet with people on the beach, unless it's like a super last minute one. Most of the time, we meet on the beach after they've arrived in Hawaii before their wedding. So I get to meet them, and then we walk on the beach. We pick their favorite spots together. They get to ask any last minute questions, and there's something really fun about meeting people for the first time in person, and then having them see where they're going to get married. They're like, "Ah, it's even more beautiful than the photos. I can't believe it." And then of course, just the wedding night itself, like I feel like I wish I could have like a camera like right here because the view that I
Ah,
get seeing their faces is they're so beautiful and they're so happy. There is like the most beautiful thing in the world. And it's like, and then the sun is setting and everybody looks so beautiful. And it's like I never get tired of it. It's the most beautiful. I feel so grateful every day. It's spectacular.
you
So I
don't
feel really
consider it
lucky.
work. It's just like amazement. This is awesome. I love knowing that, you could be part of someone's love story and, you've been through it and you've actually walked the walk. Did you get married actually at the same island, the same one of those same beaches you work on, or?
Not on the same beaches, but on the same island. Um we got married at a hotel experience. I did consider the beach wedding experience, and we couldn't find my dad is quite a bit older, so we were looking for a place where he would be comfortable. And ironically, the place we got married does not exist anymore. It
Ah,
was a hotel that was torn down and turned into a historical site. Um, but so you can't access that land anymore, which is too bad. But I do feel that um, I had really personally, when we were getting married, I really wanted or was thinking about the beach experience. And I think we might have gone that direction had we had fewer people coming with us. And so for me, though, it's like obvious. My husband and I got married here because we love the beach and we love swimming. And the ocean is the best. And I feel like um, it's just a pleasure to be like have my toes in the sand or on the lava and just um, I'm almost always barefoot during a wedding ceremony also because I like to feel grounded on the
beautiful.
on the
And
earth. And I always tell my couples, like, if you are not a barefoot person, you do not need it.
got it. And by the way, there's just amazing reviews about your service. People talking about how excellent you were and had all the major minor details covered. You vetted many vendors. They were wonderful. And Alicia Z says our Sunset Beach wedding was magical. I would absolutely recommend booking with her. Alicia M says working with Becky was a dream come true. My husband and I knew we did not want a traditional wedding, but we wanted an intimate occasion with close family and friends that showcased Hawaii's true beauty. Upon first meeting Becky, she knew exactly what we wanted. assisted in every detail, served as my go-to for communicating with all the vendors. 6-hour time changes can make communicating difficult, right? Always reachable and there to assist when they arrived. Wedding day was absolutely perfect, and Becky and Matt were able to ease any stress we had. Planning a destination wedding is not easy, not at all, and never would have been able to do it without Becky's help. So, I mean, it's great to have reviews like this as well. At this time, I would love for you to tell us how we can reach you.
So the best way to contact me is through my website, which is Simple Kona, which is Kona, beach weddings with an S.com. So Simple Kona Beach Weddings.com. And then you can just all the things are laid out really well. I feel like there's a lot of information on there. And then you just contact me through the contact. Because I feel like that way you come informed. I think that's really important, to come informed and see what we do. And I want to make sure, that I always love it because typically when people fill out my contact form, they're informed and they're ready. They're like, this is what we want, which is great. So. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Becky. Pleasure having you here. Excited to get to know you and to talk more about your work. And I hope people check out the website, the reviews, and of course, we'll be back again soon. I would love to see some of those pictures. So maybe we could share them on the screen next time. Sound good, Becky? Thank you so much. And to all of our listeners, thank you.
I love that. Thanks so much, Jill.
Please stay tuned. Thank you. We'll have more coming up after the break.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.